Hey, Stoney here. I'm joined by Clint Leetwood, and this is Mechabellum Tournament. And at the bottom here, we have Godslayer playing as a cost control specialist, and it's up against Rievin playing against marksman specialist. All right, Clint, looking at the board, first round, what do you think?
So realistically, right, with Riv's setup here, he has arc lights, and I think that immediately goes to his favor. There isn't really any great efficient chaff player for Godslayer, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for these first rounds. But I think cost control really starts to take off rounds 2, 3. So yeah, we'll see. I like Riv's setup here. I've been running into this on the ladder quite a bit, and it's made me change how I do my deployments in the early rounds. How do you feel about it?
I was just to point out that the Godslayer is saving for round 1 because of cost control, so he might be pivoting into something a little larger in round 2. And I thought one thing is very interesting is that instead of going aggro on one side, he did split on both sides. I do always like to have ball crawler all together in one side and just push for the tower. Because they move so quickly, so once you get to the tower, it doesn't take too long for you just to move over to the other side. Having them split like this is a little bit risky, as you can see here. On the other side, it's got the orange man, so that's no problem. But on this side... once the balls start to fall, then these tanks will prevail.
Yeah. I've been seeing this sort of setup that Riv has going on some of the higher end games. I ran into Arbiter on the ladder not too long ago, and he did this against me. Sunnyside also likes to play something like this. I think the idea, right, is that with these unit drops coming in, like you see now, you can just generate so much tempo. The other person has to hedge the bet, right, on what you're gonna do. And if you win the first round, right, they're having to be reactive already. And round 2, round 3 unit drop, you can just overload one side. Next round, sell something out, overload the other side, and it becomes this like really weird guessing game. And very difficult to maintain. I feel like. The Scorpions are a great answer for what is going on here, because both Fire Badgers and Steel Balls get absolutely obliterated.
Now, one thing I want to point out that is very interesting is this crawler position. Typically, you put the crawler right behind the tower, like so that when it moves up, it splits. In here, he puts the crawler sort of off-center. Now, my guess is, for a little shenanigan like this, the entire crawler is not going to get pulled all the way to that side like normally do. Like if you had it right there in the middle, this entire squad is going to get pulled over to that flank. But right now, I think only part of the squad, as you can see the crawler start to turn, and the other half is still providing chaff at the top. So very small detail, but very interesting.
Yeah, so the other way that I usually see that set up to kind of do the same thing that just occurred there is that horizontal crawlers at the base of the tower.
Like this.
So at the middle of the tower, if someone flanks you, the right-hand side, will go over to the flank, and the left-hand side of the tower will go towards the center. Or, if it's left tower, it's vice versa. But yeah, the Scorpions do quite a bit of work here, kind of as expected. Orange Man has a lot of work to do here, unfortunately.
I think he might just get the timing right, though. Let's see. Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right.
Well, so far, pretty evenly matched game. And you can tell this is much higher level because nobody under 1300 MMR is going to put units on this flank, right? Like this. It doesn't even occur to them. I didn't know that was a thing. I was like, why would you flank so close to your main army? Would that even be called a flank anymore? Wouldn't that just be part of your main army?
Oh, yeah, mass-produced Wraith. We'll pick up here. Intensive training for Godslayer. I was just going to say that shallow flank I see quite a bit, actually. Cool stuff. So it looks like Riv's going to be transitioning into a ball Wraith push here, which I think is so strong, and I am struggling against it personally. The idea, right, is that you go balls with absorption, energy absorption, degen, and then replicate crawlers, and the game usually kind of ends, and your opponent just kind of suffers the entire time. And then eventually, right, if your opponent starts to match what you're doing with things like their own degen wraiths, you go photon on the boats, and once again the game becomes pretty miserable for your opponent to play. But yeah, this is looking good for Riv. Nothing to shoot up right now. Orange Man does die and give out a ton of experience. That's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, and I had a game, not exactly a ball wraith, but in a similar format where my opponent kind of tried to take this corner and pushed it really, really hard. I didn't win that game. I came very close. I was the Scorpion user with anti-air marksman. I think what really pushed me over the edge in the final round was just photon boats. And there also happened to be a Vulcan drop, which had firebomb, which was not good for anyone. So, speaking of the devil, we got anti-air marksman here, a missile coming in here. Might catch the marksman. Yeah, might catch the marksman.
Some strong answers from Godslayer, though. I feel like this is like the most confident defense I've seen. At least compared to my games.
Nice.
Here comes the replicate.
And the next turn we'll probably see degen. And then some turn after that we'll probably see energy absorption. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, there isn't very efficient chaff clear for Godslayer, so I think that's why Riv is probably going with replicate first. Makes sense to me. Doing another, adding on a little extra to the shallow flank. Some cool stuff.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about these towers not being upgraded as a defender player?
It's tough. I have moments where I'm asked to, or people want me to, or I think about upgrading the tower, but I feel so strapped for cash. And I think I value units more than I do tower HP, and that might be a flaw in my thinking. So I understand where Godslayer's coming from on it, but
so far I think they're okay. I mean, you have to watch the board. If one side gets overtaken a lot, then that's a cue to kind of get that tower. So yeah, a lack of chaff clear here is gonna cause them a lot of grief, but I think the Scorpions should be able to handle these. They should be able to handle the crawlers, no problem.
And the A Mark's doing quite a bit of work, taking their sweet time to kill that Wraith, but now it's level 2, and that should be significantly shortened. Godslayer can even choose to go for like a level 3 here, right?
All right, so Wasp is taken by Rievin, and we have Stonecrawlers with high explosive missiles for additional chaff there. I'm not feeling the missiles right now because everything on the Rievin's board moves fast. So
yeah,
I'm not sure. Maybe these ones will catch, like it will overshoot these crawlers and then end up landing on the balls and the crawlers behind it. But I'm not feeling great about these two units. Yeah, as a defender.
Yeah, and there's degen beam. Ground spec Wasp is also a big thing in this comp. And then I think Godslayer does the right thing by reinforcing the right side here and doing an intensive training on the marksman. That should honestly, like, what, 2-shot the Wraith, something like that. It's a significant chunk of damage.
Yeah. I think the Wasp should be expected if you recognize this type of formation. Every time you see anti-air marksman, the aggressor, the next thing that you want to add into the board is some Wasp. And as a defender, you should expect that. I prefer, like at least in this board, I wouldn't mind just going Wasp or anti-air Wasp of my own, because these Wraith are mass produced, so they have absolutely abysmal range and damage, and can be brought down very quickly.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't even notice that he took that. Oh wait, no, we did. We talk about that. Never mind. Ignore me.
All right, Stonecrawlers getting some value in, but it's high explosive, and it's not shooting crawlers. It's just hitting. Yeah. But if anything, the ground is clear, so now all he has to deal with is what's in the sky.
How would you approach this? Do you go like AA specialized Mustangs, or are you thinking AA forts?
I'll probably go with AA Wasps of my own.
Oh, okay. I like that idea.
Because right now, aside from these Wasp and 2 Wraith, they have no anti-air. I didn't even see this Scorpion in the corner last game. Apparently there was a flank in the corner.
Oh, it's getting a photon.
It's getting photon. It's working its darnest to walk to the tower. Well, good luck to that.
Flank. Yeah.
All he needs is a pack of vertical, well, in this case, horizontal fans. All right, so I guess the answer is AA Mustangs, level 2 AA Mustangs.
Yeah, I see merit to that line of thinking, only because AA Wasps, right? If they ever get in the range of the Wraith, they kind of just fall over. So I think the idea, right, is that with range and AA on Mustangs, you're very clearly out of the degen beam range, and you're very comfortably DPSing from the back, right?
Mm-hmm. My only concern right now with these Mustangs, at least, like, I would prefer its original position to be a little bit further down, preferably behind these crawlers instead of like this. Was well, I mean, it's got arc lights, but more importantly, we've got fire badgers. So, but I think it should be fine. The AA will prioritize air units who will stay further back, so I think it's okay. Now the question is, he made 3. Oh, there's the third one with the Scorpion flank.
Scorp staying on a flank, love it. Something to also important to note, I think. Godslayer went tech specialist, I think, on round 3, and I feel like I've seen him tech so many units, so he's very much paying off for what he's trying to do here, right? He's gone AA on Mustangs, he's gone AA on Marksman, he's gone range on Scorpion, and right there is the break-even point, right? 3 techs breaks even with tech specialist. But you also have explosive ammo on the Stormcallers, so yeah, he's got some stuff cooking here. But he is bleeding pretty bad.
Yeah. All right, back to the AA. I just noticed that Rievin is running armor. And this is a trap for AA Mustangs. If you're running armor on Wraith, normally I would try to stay away from Wraith. So now it's just who gets who first, right? It's like a cat and mouse. He can get armor on the Wraith, and if he somehow can get these marksmen or force the marksmen to shoot at the wasps, then that Wraith is going to live forever because the Mustangs can't touch him. Right.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing right now with the lightning storm on the right-hand side is kind of the benefit of setting up your board how Riv has early on, is that these very big swingy spells can only hit a third of your army realistically. So even when, losing, it's not like you lose your whole army, you only lose a bit of it, and the loss isn't as big. You don't have the worry of getting one shot. You can sometimes see happen. But Mustangs have range clicked for them. Wasps have range clicked for them. Got some interesting stuff going on. So yeah, this right side is going to get immediately just decimated. This Wraith in the middle gets popped. Steel Ball is doing quite a bit of work on the left side.
And this is when a tower upgrade might be interesting, but I don't think they'll get to the tower. maybe a little bit. 2 shots. No.
Okay.
All right.
Really
pretty
competent
good.
defense from Godslayer here.
All right. Pretty good turning point here. Now they're in even footing. Wow. Final rounds. Ooh, that's a huge chunk of health. All right. Now let's see if we can do this again without the lightning storm. Okay. So Melter gets picked. And Sandworm.
Whoa, Sandworm. I like it. I think Sandworm goes right into these Mustangs.
That's right. Sandstorm getting into the Mustangs. Finally start to sell off on the side. Noticing there's nothing can be done here. I wonder if it makes sense just for him to add some... Nah, I was going to say maybe add some crawlers, but then they'll have to be teleported in. And this is already level 2 with Replicate, so no. Otherwise, he could have bait out, or at least stay long enough to take out a few of these level 3 wasps, which would be nice. Okay, Sandworm with Sandstorm ready to go. Both on this side. And we got a level 3 melting point to deal with the Sandworm. A third Sandworm is being added. Taking the middle.
Okay, and then Riv loans, yep. Temp range, speed. I was curious about if speed would get clicked here. I feel like Riv really wants to just close that distance as fast as he can, get that sandstorm working, and allow the rest of his army to do the work.
So this is essentially what the board is looking at right now, right? So we got potentially 3 thins attacking the left tower, 2 thins attacking the right tower. Now let's see what happens. Alright, so got Sandworms on target, Sandstorm coming. Mustangs are being pulled.
Oh, those steel balls.
Ooh,
the right tower goes down. Wow. And the, okay.
Now this is overwhelming. Yeah, Mustangs completely notified, which allows all these wasps to live. Wow, what a round.
I think this is one of the cool things about this comp, this Wraith ball push, is that you can very easily transition into this like wasp, Wraith, worm play, and everything kind of just works together really well.
Yeah. All right. It was an excellent game. I hope you enjoyed this game. I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.